I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I didn't mean to put up a video today. It's Christmas. Uh, well, I just didn't because my hands hurt, and I'm hopefully going to get another phone and hopefully fix my phone, my Facebook, and all that being anyway, and my Gmail being hacked. Um, anyway, I guess I didn't have to say that. I'm just tired. It's Christmas Day, and I'm watching CNN, HLN. That's their channel too. I think it is. I'm sure it is. Don't just think. It used to be Court TV or something, and thus I'm going to mention her because she's a part of sending the wrong people to death row, and that's where Scott Peterson's headed if somebody doesn't tell the truth in all this. Well, I've told the truth. So if they don't bring it before a court of law, and I'm going to say this, and I know that I know what can be used to suppress people telling the truth. So it scares me. But there's one right up here in Fairfax, Virginia, and he's in prison for mind control murder, just like this that was done in Patterns, and you can prove this one. I mean, people would say, well, they don't want all this told, first of all, because of who I am, and my kidnapping and finding out about it and what I've told, and the fact that mind control is being used to murder people. It's a weapon, just like a knife, only it's got a big, huge audience it can deal with and kill, like armies can be programmed. And I mentioned Larry Flynn again because he was shot when I was doing a book on mind control murders, Tesla files that were stolen and all that. I put this up before, and the only reason I'm putting it up, I guess, this morning is because I'm watching this, and I think I watched part of it yesterday. And this is when Lacey disappeared Christmas Eve, I believe, or was reported to have disappeared. All I can say is I have continued to put up all along. There hasn't been that many of late, or I haven't noticed it, or just didn't put them up anymore. I don't think they've been done in Patterns so much. Anyway, back to Scott Peterson. That was a mind control used in that one and done in Patterns in the murder of Lacey. And it's my understanding they will not let this into court because it's not credible. Well, it's the only truth you'll ever have if you let it in and deal with it. Of course, then what? Some of these people have been put to death. Some of them have spent years in prison. Some people have gotten wealthy off of books and TV shows. Right, Pitbull. So whether it's ever told, they'd have to tell about me too, or somehow they'd have to come in another way, and you still wouldn't know how they got it. They would still have to come back to me and tell about the takedown of my father and the lies, and who my mom, and the takedown of her, and the crimes committed against me and my children here in this country. My mom was from this country, by the way, Madison, Wisconsin. So where'd I get? Nowhere. People don't like the fact that I even talk about any of it because it's not that they don't believe it, they do. They think it can never affect them. Well, it may, and some people it has, obviously. So I'll get off the podium here. The one that can be proven is in Falls Church, Fairfax, Virginia. Jesse Matthews, is in prison there. He pled guilty, I think, uh, so he wouldn't face the death penalty. But I know that what I'm telling is supposed to be not credible. Well, it's the truth. So the only way you stop it is you don't deal with gender like the next girl. You deal with it's the next child, the next girl, the next boy, the next person, the next group that mind control has been used on. And it's used to commit murders using that are really hard to prove. Same thing would have to happen done in patterns by someone, an agency that wants you to know it. And by using it, and that's the only way to tell it, it's invisible. So they can commit murder by cancer. And one I'm going to go ahead and say, and that's all I can do, and I'm not going to mention anybody else knowing it later and telling it. John Wayne. Steve McQueen was one. And there's other that developed cancer and had mind control used on them. And some of them can be proven. So I guess back to Scott Peterson again. I think Scott Peterson, to me, seems like a very nice man. And when they pick at him, like when he appeared in court and he kind of waved a little bit and smiled, trying to be nice to everybody, well, they took it as the opposite of being arrogant and, I guess, flamboyant and trying to this and that. Maybe the young man is innocent, and not maybe he is. He spent so much of his life on death row, and I don't know when he's. I hope that they tell the truth and let the man go for whatever time he's got left on this earth. And all these people who have been asked, these professionals that are supposed to know about murders, and these psychiatrists and psychologists that could have told the truth. My God, everybody knows about MK Ultra and mind control. And now then they, as of years ago, with all the communication satellites and all that, you can program armies. You wonder how many people have had chips put in them, and you can program pretty soon the whole world, if not now. So who's left standing? Somebody who took my job down Tampa at the Tampa Hilton. She came in, she worked for Kelly, and I was supposed to work there. I realize that now, some of my jobs. And then I was out. She came in on Kelly services, or one of the personnel. It was a big one. I've forgotten which one. It was popular at the time, Norrell or one of them. And it's part-time. Well, 10. Well, it ended up, she was going to push me out anyway. She was supposed to. She came there for that reason. I was sales secretary, and Maisie was secretary to John Bristol. And I've said this before, that your government, your deep state, all of them are into all kinds of stuff that's not told. And obviously they have people in power and management in different areas. And anyway, John Bristol was the manager, and he was, I think now he was CIA. I can't remember. He was one of the agencies. Maisie was CIA, and her children went to, and I cannot remember the name of the college up there, at Langley, CIA headquarters. What's the college? Something Mason. George Mason University. Anyway, this woman came in, and she made my life miserable, and I left. And that was meant to be. But before she left, she started telling me about what I was telling about mind control. And I was almost afraid to verbally tell it. It's only later, when I could put it up on YouTube and Facebook, that I felt kind of free because people would want to lock me up. They didn't like what I was saying because of government conspiracies, and then especially about me being kidnapped. You're talking about Amber. I hope you get to see where Amber fits into this. And I think they've all criticized this young man. I'm back to Scott Peterson because it burns me up. Oh my God. They have to have a motive, don't they? The motive is that mind control was used in it, and the man's innocent. So, just like, go back now, I'm going back and forth. Follow me, please. Back to Paddock and the Vegas shootings. Uh, The man was programmed. They autopsied his brain to find a motive. Well, you gotta, first of all, if you really want to find the motive, you gotta go back to the people doing the programming. And you're not going to do that unless you listen to me if I'm alive. Anyway, where'd I get to? Back to, and by the way, I want to say this, the assault weapon that he used, President Trump, who I like Trump, let me clarify that unless he proves me wrong. I think he's a good man. He's got the right ideas, and hopefully he doesn't go along with the Illuminati. Everybody else did. All your presidents were. All of them. Secretary of States, Henry Kissinger, Nixon, the whole friggin' bunch of them, way back to Eisenhower and before, because your presidents that broke from the UK, from the Brits, was a bunch of Freemason Illuminati. So you got it right up there as the United Nations, and if you think I'm veering off, it does connect. That's your United Nations is a front for the global government. The Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, and the great Kennedy clan, who hobnobbed way back with the Rothschilds, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, Mountbattens, who are kin to me. They married into the Windsors. So now then, I'm going to stop here. There's not much need to put anything else up. I'm sure I probably will. My hand's going to... I've got problems from over the years putting videos up, and I've got nerve damage in both of them. So anyway, all I can say is I wish Scott Peterson luck. He had a good attorney, Mark Garrigus. I don't think he could have gotten a better attorney. And I hope the trial comes up and the truth comes out, is presented once and for all, and let it fall where it may. And for once, tell the truth about some hoodlums who've run this country, and your media, who is controlled by the hoodlums, the criminals, right out of Rockefeller Plaza. And the UN and Rockefeller headquarters, and I got the good old Christmas tree sitting there. Symbolic of, and you wonder who they think they're fooling. I wish Scott Peterson luck. I've put up things, I've done things. It's not just his name means something to me, but I honestly think he's a good guy. For whatever, whether he's good or not, and I'm sure he is. He didn't commit these crimes, okay?